Good morning. Welcome to another one-line meditation. Our teacher for this week is Gary Zukov. But in this morning's piece, I've roped in a bunch of other teachers too, to try and get to the point or illustrate the point of this quote from Gary Zukov this morning. So if you're ready, let's get right into it, because it's quite a bit to get through. Gary Zukov says, the amount of stress in your life is determined by how much energy you expend resisting your life. This is quite a big topic. Hey, somebody, good morning. Happy Monday. Oh, happy Tuesday. Sorry. We are already at Tuesday. Anthony, good morning. It's very good to see you, man. Right, what does Gary Zukov mean when he says the amount of stress in your life is determined by how much energy you spend resisting your life? It's a huge topic to get our head around. And in spiritual teachings, resistance is quite a regular topic. But let's take a moment to understand the science of resistance. In an electrical system, resistance is created by a component that is designed to resist the flow of electricity. Some simple examples of resistors are the tungsten filament in an incandescent light bulb and the nichrome spiral of an electrical stove top. Hey Charlene, a very good morning. It's awesome seeing you. These specific metals are not good conductors of electrical current. In fact, they resist the flow of electricity so much that they heat up and start to glow enough to either light up a darkened room or even bring a pot of water to boiling point. Resistance by its very nature causes friction and stress within a system. This can be useful if applied to provide light or to cooking dinner, but very unhelpful if resistance is the default state of our nervous system. Linda, good morning. It is awesome seeing you. So similar to resistance in an electrical system, a nervous system that is in resistance also restricts the flow of information. And just like electrical wiring that heats up causes the plastic insulation to become brittle and break, creating short circuits and misfiring, so too does a nervous system in constant resistance cause the myelin sheath around neurons to wear thin and break, creating misfiring and miscommunication within the system. Are you frying your wiring? Is your own resistance to things in life causing your nervous system to heat up and break? Vivian, a very good morning. It's awesome seeing you. So this might not always be an easy question to answer. So here's a bunch more quotes from really good teachers speaking on the same topic of resistance, and maybe this helps create some clarity. Byron Katie says, I am a lover of what is, not because I'm a spiritual person, but because it hurts when I argue with reality. We can know that reality is good just as it is because when we argue with it, we experience tension and frustration. We don't feel natural or balanced. When we stop opposing reality, action becomes simple, fluid, kind, and fearless. And this one word that she uses, action, shines a bit of light because non-resistance, letting go of resistance, often sounds a lot like just letting things go and never taking action on anything. Byron Katie says that when we stop opposing reality, then actually action becomes simple. Eckhart says, to offer no resistance to life is to be in a state of grace, ease, and lightness. This state is then no longer dependent upon things being a certain way. It seems almost paradoxical, yet when your inner dependency on form is gone, the general conditions of your life, the outer forms, tend to improve greatly too. Still Eckhart, he says, the greater part of human pain is unnecessary. It is self-created as long as the unobserved mind runs your life. The pain that you create now is always some form of non-acceptance, some form of unconscious resistance to what is. Adyashanti says, whatever you resist, you become. If you resist anger, you're always angry. If you resist sadness, you're always sad. If you resist suffering, you're always suffering. If you resist confusion, you are always confused. We think that we resist certain states because they are there, but actually they are there because we resist them. And one last tiny thought from the Buddha says, change is never painful. Only the resistance to change is painful. Our meditation today is all about surrender, and surrender is about letting go of resistance and feeling what becomes available to us, understanding that when we give up resistance and surrender, what becomes available to us. If you're ready, you can close your eyes and let's float away together, starting with the first few big breaths. Let's take a deep breath in and out. A deep breath in and out. A deep inhale and let it go. Deep breath in and out. One more big breath in and let it all flow away. You can continue the same breathing pattern on your own time. Every slow inhale through your nose gets drawn all the way deep down into your belly. And as you fill up your belly with air, also raise yourself up. As you breathe in, stretch out your spine, lift the top of your head toward the ceiling. And once you've reached your full height, slowly let all of it go. As you exhale, soften. With every breath out, soften your spine, slump down your shoulders and drop your head. We started out with this first thought from Gary Zukov that said the amount of stress in your life is determined by how much energy you spend resisting your life. With every big breath, with every long, slow exhale, as you soften, feel the reality of your body letting go of resistance. Say the words to yourself as you exhale and soften. Repeat it to yourself, letting go of resistance. Is it obvious to you what you might be in resistance to? All of these teachers speak about developing the ability to look at and see life exactly as it is, without being in resistance to what we see. What comes to your mind? Are there areas in your life where you spend a lot of energy being in resistance to life as it's happening? I want to draw your attention one more time to Byron Katie's words specifically that said, in the absence of our resistance, when we let go and surrender, then action also becomes easier, because it becomes clearer how and where to act. And I hope that by the end of today's analogy, you understand surrender in the same way, that it makes it clearer to know how and when to act. We'll take the last few big breaths of this phase together, helping our bodies stretch, adjust, and settle down into as much comfort as possible for the rest of our journey. Let's take a deep breath in. As you release, drop your head all the way forward and roll out your neck muscles, going forward and to the left and forward and to the right. Take a deep breath in. And as you release, roll your shoulders forward in big, slow circles. Take a deep breath in. As you release, roll your shoulders backwards in big, slow circles. Take a deep breath in. As you release, focus on your spine. You can lean your upper body over to the left and also lean your upper body over to the right. Leaning into back muscles gently testing where the edges are and softly leaning into those edges. One more big breath in, and as you release, you can stretch, adjust, or move any part of your body that still needs a bit of help settling down. Having softened our bodies into a state of presence as much as we are able to in this moment, we can now turn our attention inwards and dive deep inside for the next part of our journey. If you don't have the time to sit for the whole meditation with us, then this is a really good place to stop. But if you are here for the whole journey, then with every next inhale, we'll hold our breath for a few short moments, followed by a long and slow exhale. Let's take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, make it a really long, really slow exhale. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, feel into your body and feel how softness slowly settles into every muscle of your body. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, follow the downwards flow through your body. Feel your shoulders slowly falling, feel your body slowly softening, and feel how you are slowly slipping deeper into you. One more big breath in. And hold. And as you release, feel yourself melting. Feel your whole body dissolving. Feel how you are slipping into a deeper level of surrender with every slow exhale. You can continue the same breathing pattern on your own time. Every slow inhale through your nose is an invitation. It invites you to turn inwards and follow this journey. As you breathe in, feel the air flow in through your nostrils. Feel the air touch the back of your throat. Stay with your breath as it flows in through your lungs. And as you fill up the balloon inside your belly, feel yourself slip all the way in. Hold your breath, but hold it only for as long as it feels easy, followed by a really long, really slow exhale. with your next big breath as you dive deep into you. Remind yourself again of this word we've been talking about this morning. Resistance. What does it mean to you? Take your next big breath. If you've meditated along with us for a while, you'll know how much I like analogies with water, and specifically our pond. The picture of each of us being like a pond of water. And I like to start this analogy by being halfway in this water. Bottom half of my body in the pond and the top half sticking out. To me, it creates a very clear picture of a similar way as Eckhart saying that the pain we experience is often self-created, that the storm we experience is often self-created. And in this picture, our resistance to life, our resistance to the things that are happening, looks a bit like us trying to fight this off. And in trying to fight, we're splashing in this pond. Take a moment to see the picture of yourself splashing in your pond, and remind yourself of what this creates. Our resistance, our fighting the world around us. What does it do to the water of our pond? As you take your next big breath, look at the surface, and look through the surface into all of the mud being stirred up from the bottom. Take your next big breath. When we're in resistance to reality, it often causes the splashing in our pond. And our splashing causes us to lose clarity because we can't see. And as we lose clarity, we experience fear. And fear tends to cause us to splash even more violently. Do you have a recent example of your own splashing in your pond? When was the last time where losing clarity on something in your life, experiencing fear, made you splash in your pond, stirring up a storm. This might not have been visible from the outside. It might just have been how you felt on the inside. Can you remember the last example? Take your next big breath. In this image, it's clear to see how our resistance can cause some splashing, how losing clarity can cause fear, and how our own fear can cause us to freak out even more and stir up a full-blown storm in our pond. Remind yourself of what it feels like to look down and not be able to see the bottom, having no sense of clarity in terms of how to take the next step. Take your next big breath. And the worst part of the storm in our pond is the belief it creates about ourselves. Because as you look down at your reflection in the storm, the choppy surface of the water will very naturally return to you a broken reflection. But in this space, in this state where we are already scared, already uncertain, when we look down for some kind of reassurance and see this broken reflection staring back at us, it's very easy to believe that this is who I am. This broken, fractured image of a human. Can you remember yourself feeling that way? Can you take this moment to remind yourself that when you've stirred up a storm in your pond, please try and remember not to trust the image you see. This is not really you, but this is what the storm feels like. Take your next big breath. As we've said multiple times before, surrender is not necessarily the absence of action, but surrender starts when I realize my latest action has not been helpful. All of my latest actions has been in resistance to life. And for the moment, I may have to stop taking action. For the moment, I might have to just take a step backwards, step out of this pond, and for a moment do nothing. Do you get that? Resistance, letting go of resistance, softening into surrender does not mean we shouldn't ever take action, but it means that our latest actions might have been unhelpful. As you take your next big breath and as you dive deep into you, see yourself take a step backwards out of the pond, and for a moment, just watch. Take your next big breath. Sometimes I get the question that, but I've gotten out of my pond. I've stopped splashing. Why is the water still stormy? And John Wellwood asks this very simple question when he says, do you have the patience to wait for the water to settle? Because if the storm in the pond was really big, then also it will take time to settle. And if I lose patience, I might think that I could stick my hand back into the pond and do something to make the water settle. It's clear to see that won't work, right? Do you have the patience to wait for the water to settle? Take your next big breath. This analogy comes from the very old teaching that says that our true nature is just like the nature of water, that in the absence of interference, in the absence of resistance, we always return to our natural state, which is calm and clear. And once the pond has settled, we can see right to the bottom. and how to take action, where to take the next step, becomes more clear. And even more important, when we look down at the reflection on the smooth water, now we get something that's a lot more accurate. We can see a more clear picture of our true selves when the water is calm. Is this something you can remind yourself of? Don't trust the reflection when there's a storm in your pond. What you're seeing is not true. We'll take the last few big breaths of this phase together, slipping out of the breath-holding space and into the next. And as we do, imagine yourself looking down at the surface of your calm pond and seeing your beautiful, true nature looking back at you. Let's take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, make it a long, slow exhale. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, feel how softness settles into your body in the presence of your calm pond. One more big breath in and hold. And as you release, feel yourself slip all the way through. There is no more attention on your breathing. You can sit all the way back or even lie all the way back down. I'll read to you again these words from such beautiful and wise teachers trying to create clarity around what resistance means and what we get when we let go of it. And while I read this to you again, remind yourself of what the reflection in your pond looks like when you've returned to your natural state, when you're able to let go of resistance. Gary Zukav says the amount of stress in your life is determined by how much energy you spend resisting your life. Byron Katie says, I am a lover of what is, not because I'm a spiritual person, but because it hurts when I argue with reality. We can know that reality is good just as it is because when we argue with it, we experience tension and frustration. We don't feel natural or balanced. When we stop opposing reality, then action becomes simple, fluid, kind, and fearless. Eckhart says, to offer no resistance to life is to be in a state of grace, ease, and lightness. This state is then no longer dependent upon things being a certain way, good or bad. It seems almost paradoxical, yet when your inner dependency on form is gone, the general conditions of your life, the outer forms, tend to also improve greatly. He says the greater part of human pain is unnecessary. It is self-created as long as the unobserved mind runs your life. The pain that you create now is always some form of non-acceptance, some form of unconscious resistance to what is. Adyashanti says that in resistance, whatever you resist, you become. If you resist anger, you are always angry. If you resist sadness, you are always sad. If you resist suffering, you're always suffering. If you resist confusion, you are always confused. We think that we resist certain states because they are there, but actually, they are there because we resist them. And one final thought from the Buddha says, change is not what's painful. Change is never painful. It is our resistance to change that is painful. This was looking at the concept of resistance through the eyes of a multitude of teachers. I hope it furthers your understanding of the topic, and that you're able through this analogy to see how surrender brings our pond to clarity again. And this letting go of resistance, embracing surrender, makes taking action easier. Not only because we can see with clarity where to act, but also we can see how many times we're trying to act on things that are not ours to control. We have the last 5 breaths of gratitude to do together. With every exhale, I'll say my thank you, and I invite you to say yours. Let's take a deep breath in. Thank you for this beautifully clear picture of letting go of resistance. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for becoming better at realizing the very first splashes I make in my pond. The first splashes that usually lead to a storm, but getting better at recognizing the first ones so I can get out sooner. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for the reminder to not trust the image that I see in my pond when there's a storm. That fractured, broken image is never true, even though in the moment of a storm it might feel very convincing. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for developing the patience to wait for the water to settle. And that patience really comes from being kind to myself. From being gentle with me in the moments that it feels like, damn it, I should have got this by now. One more big breath in. Thank you, beautiful people. Can you remember to be kind to you? Are you getting better at being gentle with you? There was a lot of words this morning, lots of different thoughts and ideas, and it might be difficult to get our heads wrapped around them all, but at the core of it is just, are you getting better at being kind to you? Michelle, a very good morning. It's good to see you here. Stephen, good morning. It's always good seeing you pop in, man. Charlene, thank you. It's a huge pleasure. It's awesome having you here. Maggie, a very good morning, and thanks for your comment. Thank you, Sunmarie. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Vivian. Good morning, Pat. Judy, I just see your face in the corner of my screen. It is so good to see you. A good evening to you. Thank you, Leshna. Thank you, Anthony. And whoever else might be in the background. Baby steps, right? At the core of this all, are you getting better at being kind to you? Lots of love to you all. Have a beautiful day. See you soon.